Steve Weiss joined Steiny Guru yesterday talking about Brock Purdy. If he had to, he could win you a game.
What about everything he's done makes you think he's not legit? I mean, he got injured, but everything about it, he can deliver the ball. He runs the offense well. I mean, I think he's a real guy. I mean, and I don't think he's just a system guy. I think if he went to another team and played a different scheme, he'd be fine. I still think the national feeling is that the Niners are so stacked that they just need a game manager at quarterback. But I think Brock's the type of guy that if you needed him to win a game, if he had to throw it 40 times in a game, he can win it. Now, does he have great talent around him? 1,000%. But I think he's legit. I mean, there's nothing about me that I've seen that makes him think he's going to lose his cool, that he's going to go on some type of four interception game type spree. He just seems like a very legitimate NFL quarterback.
I don't know how much you take into stock, like the broadcast and some of the pre-prepared packages that they have and how they present certain players and things like that. Like week one of, they talked about Trey Lance and people were triggered. It's like, of course they're going to talk about the Trey Lance trade. Right. It just happened. It was a big deal nationally. I know we've talked about it and we're all blue in the face over it and we don't want to talk about it anymore. But of course, in the Pittsburgh game, they're going to at least address it with a graphic. I do feel like I want to see what it looks like and how the national media talks about Brock Purdy. I want to hear what Al Michaels and Herb Street are going to say.
You don't remember what they said last year in Seattle? I don't remember because it was Thursday Night Football, so I'm not even going to pretend like I remember. I remember watching the broadcast back, but
it was so fresh.
Trying to remember what Al Michaels is saying these days. You remember all the dubious notes he has, like "Welcome back to Veterans Stadium." Like he has lost his
I've been on the Al Michaels.
I think he's a legend. He's a legend. No,
of course.
I love Al.
He's a compiler.
My voice.
He's Joe Namath. He's stuck around way too long.
Right. He was my voice in Monday Night Football for a very long time, and then him and Madden made sweet music on NBC. That Super Bowl, Madden's last game he ever called was a Pittsburgh, Arizona Super Bowl.
I'm taking Summerall and Madden, but that's fine.
I mean, I think a lot of people are, but Al Michaels was very
Steve
good.
Young,
Madden. Right? No.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
Rice,
touchdown.
It's the best.
Just simple,
Sterling Lee has no idea. Sterling has no idea about Pat Summerall.
No
Former
idea.
punter. Played in that 19...
Sterling, did you give me a thumbs up? Did you watch the Madden documentary last year on Fox? How special was it? All right, it was good. You young bucks need to watch that stuff. Love it. I'm not even going to ask.
Where I'm going at with the Brock Purdy.
Love is looking at Casey Smith's minor league numbers right now.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Here's my Brock Purdy thing, though. I do feel like a lot of the country, and maybe some of the fan base, but a lot of the country is waiting for the demise of Brock Purdy.
Why did you say that?
Because I think that a lot of people don't think it's real. I think a lot of people want to say what he isn't. They want to say that, he's propped up by Shanahan, propped up by the roster around him. And I'm sure all those things have helped him to some degree. But we're acting like he's fake. And I don't think he's fake at all. And I kind of like feel like he's got something to prove in this game to say like, nah, I'm not fake. And I know he did it in the playoff games multiple times, but I feel like there's still people out there hating on the man.
You know what, though? Now that I think about it, sure, he's had a small sample size of starts. Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. That was a national televised game.
A Sunday afternoon game, yeah.
Against Brady. Did well, check the box. Seattle, Amazon Prime, Thursday Night Football, standalone game. Check the box. Wild card game against Seattle, everybody's watching the playoffs. That was his low 300-yard game. He threw for 332 yards and lit it up in the second half.
And should have had probably 360 if Ayuk catches that ball.
So then you get the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody's watching that game.
Uh-huh.
It's a nationally televised game, divisional round game. We all saw it. So the national media has seen Brock Purdy more than one time.
Yeah, but you know how they talk.
Yeah, but
now they've got an off season.
Well, you hear Steve Weiss, you hear Peter King. I've heard a lot more praise for Brock Purdy than I have negative thoughts. This is why the whole Trey Lance narrative. This is where the Trey Lance stuff came. When we were going back and forth about Trey Lance, everybody said, you already got a guy. It's Brock Purdy.
But, Bonte, he missed 2 passes, and you're already seeing people lose their minds.
Well, that's because this is a lunatic fringe.
That's true.
You can't, it's the same lunatic fringe who was worried about the run defense in the preseason. The same lunatic fringe who were worried about Jake Moody. The same lunatic fringe.
Missed kicks.
The same lunatic fringe. Oh, my God. Like, people are going to find something and they're going to be irrational about it. Winning 30-23 is not good enough for a lot of people.
Well, it was good enough for me.
Like, I've been watching the NFL since I was 5 years old. I'm 41 now. It's not easy winning in this league. Now, we may have gotten spoiled with Steve Young and Joe Montana blowing everybody out, but with the salary cap now, parity has been emphasized in the NFL. It's been a parity. This league has been all about parity. Now, you got your top-heavy teams, but the gap between the top-heavy teams and those second-tier teams is narrow. So I don't know what people are going to complain just to complain. I don't care. The fact that he made the right read, like Jimmy just chucks things up. Like, go ask Raider fans how that experience is going. That's what we had to sit through. Brock is so much better than Jimmy. It's not even funny.
No, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. But you know how these broadcasters, they love them some Jimmy, and they also love to point out his mistakes.
Well, it's also the same lunatic fringe in the national media who said Curry needs to win a fourth. He needs to win one by himself.
And it's absurd.
You idiots. You morons. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here? So I'm not going to go crazy over there.
You think Herb Street will like him?
Oh, I think Herb Street will love him. Think about Herb Street. He was a kind of an underdog type of quarterback at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Herb Street's going to love him. I will love him. And this is what gets lost. He was the last pick of the draft. Who doesn't love this story? It's one of the best. If Brock was to ever win a Super Bowl,
it's one of the greatest underdog
it'd be one of
stories
the greatest stories in NFL history.
I mean, Ryan Vogelsong still eats for free, and he was a higher pick in his sport relative to what Brock Purdy was.
There you go.
And wasn't the quarterback of the Niners. He was the fourth starter on a staff that won a World Series.
Honestly, though, somebody, 405 City Mobile text line, Bonte and Shasky, can you explain what the deal is with the Monday Night doubleheaders? Monday Night Football doubleheaders? I don't know. I like them. I don't know what the NFL is doing with the scheduling.
I don't like them. Because I like to watch, if you're going to have a standalone game, let it be standalone.
Yeah, I get
For
that.
me. Like, that's the whole point of having a Monday night standout.
Let me ask you something, though. Before we get to Jose in Oakland, do you really care what the national media says about your football team?
A little. I like when they praise him. Like I like when Steph gets a lot of love.
Right,
for example, I'm being real.
I hear you. No,
right?
I'm not gonna. I hear you.
And I try and like Dion, does with Colorado. I am going to find any little bit of criticism.
I hear you.
To use as motivation.
For some reason,
that's what athletes do.
Over the last 5 years, what the national media says about my teams, I've cared less and less about. Because I know I watch my teams every single day. They don't. I keep up with practice every single day.
Yeah, but it's nice to get the recognition.
No, I know. I agree with that. I like the recognition.
As someone who wants the recognition, but it's nice to see my teams get the recognition.
Yeah, but you know what? If you win, you're going to get the recognition. If you're a top team, at some point, you will get recognized. Like, think about how long it took.
Steph Curry won championships and didn't get the recognition.
No, from the national media.
Yes.
And for a while, I cared about that. It did. I remember I got to Boston. I was like, you idiots don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but didn't it make it sweeter when he won that fourth?
Yeah,
for everyone to finally, coronate him as one of the greats.
Well, not only that, but just for the Warriors to win a game. It felt good for the Warriors to win a game because of where they came from, the 15-win season, the play-in tournament, losing to the Lakers and the Grizzlies. But over the last 5 years, I haven't really concerned myself with the Colin Cowards, the Stephen A's. Hear me out here.
Yeah.
Like I just, because they don't read every practice report.
I get that.
They don't watch every presser.
You want your legends to be talked about in a good way.
Whatever. It doesn't bother me one way or the other. What bothers me is my team's not winning games like the Giants. That bothers me.
Well, like, for example, when Brian Windhorst said, checkbook championships, like, as a Warrior fan, that bothered me. Well, when the Cleveland Cavaliers had the highest payroll of all time.
Well, yeah. Well, that's why we sunned them on the show. That's why we got them on the show and was like, what are you talking about? Who at ESPN made you say something like that?
Well, because we're proud of our teams, right? And there's this civic pride that we have baked into each squad that we have here, and we want to see our team get their appropriate love. Like, who doesn't want to get their flowers?
No, I hear that.
But I understand your perspective. There's a lot of people that just ignore everything nationally. I love sitting down when my team's on a national televised game, basketball, baseball, football, and hearing how they talk about my team.
Right.
I do like that.
But then
we're in the bubble. But then, are they aware of what we see in the bubble?
Right. But at the same time, when they say something wrong, like, oh man, they got this wrong, they got that wrong.
Here become. That's always funny when they mispronounce a player's name.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hufanga?
Kayvon Looney. Kayvon.
Yeah, Colin Coward's 5 years late and still calling him Kayvon.
Jose Oakley, what's happening?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning, Jose.
I think like most Niner fans, I mean, I love my team. I think that those fans that are refusing to fully embrace Brock Purdy are afraid of getting their heart broken, okay? It goes back to the Colin Kaepernick and Jimmy Garoppolo experience, thinking that we had our franchise quarterback just to see them get figured out by the league, and all of a sudden start playing crappy football. Me personally, I'm fully into Brock Purdy. I mean, it is what it is. I want to enjoy the moment, enjoy the winning, enjoy the game. If it eventually, it turns around, it turns that he's not the man, well, it is what it is. But I want to enjoy this time. And those fans that are refusing to do so, I think they're losing out on that experience.
Hey, Jose, you know what I would tell those people? Don't just dip your toe in the water. Throw your trunks off and skinny dip in that lake.
Yeah, like I said, I'm all in with Brock Purdy. I mean, to me personally, I think the guy is what it is. He's very calm. He reminds me a lot of he has a lot of the qualities that Joe Montana had. I'm not saying he is like Joe Montana, but we're all waiting for our next Steve Young. Heck, you know what? I said it for my next Jeff Garcia. It is for what it is. I'm all in with Brock Purdy. Like I said, let's enjoy the moment. Let's enjoy the ride. If at the end of the day we end up getting our hearts broken, that is what it is. But we enjoy that time.
You skinny dip, Shasky?
I've never skinny dipped. But in the Brock Purdy experience as a Niner fan right now, if we were using the analogy of dipping your toe in the water in terms of embracing him,
skinny dipping.
I'm skinny dipping in the lake. That's the only way I can describe it.
No, we didn't stand for
Cannonball.
We didn't stand for the checkbook championship because
come on, Sterling.
The checkbook championship comment by Brian Windhorst was something I'd never heard before. It's like, so we're going to discount we might as well call all the Yankee championships from the Jeter years checkbook championships.
Well, they were.
That's not right because it's proven this year the teams with the highest payroll. Yeah, exactly. The Mets, look at them. They had to tear apart their team. The St. Louis Cardinals.
I mean, the 94 Niners are one of my favorite teams of all time. It was a checkbook team.
They spent a lot of money on them.
Yeah, and I loved it.
It's fine.
Give me all the mercenaries.
But I never heard checkbook championships before. Windhorst say, wait a minute. The top teams spend money.
Yeah, I want my teams to be like the Expendables. Right. Give me all the best.
Spend money.
I want it to be like the Avengers. Give me all the best characters.
The Lakers had a high payroll last year. Guess what? They didn't win a championship.
Speaking of the Lakers, you disappointed that Winning Time got canceled? Because it wasn't that one of your shows?
We watched. Hannah loved it. Hannah loved it. It was funny. I know a lot of. See, I figured it was going to get canceled because none of the Lakers really supported that show.
Well, Jerry West felt very disrespected.
I mean, it was a funny character. I laughed at him. I know that's not Jerry West. Dr. Jerry Buss, John C. Reilly, very funny. I know. I mean, come on, man. Pat Riley.
That speech that Pat Riley gave in the locker room, though, when he officially became the head coach, that was one of the coolest moments of the entire show.
That was.
So you were in on it.
Oh, I enjoyed the show a lot. It was a lot of fun. I mean, it was one of those things. I kind of took a lot of things with a grain of salt because, especially, remember we had a lot of players on. Remember we had Rick Barry on last year, and we brought up oh hey Rick, you were shown in Winning Time last night, and then he just went off on that show for how it portrayed Jerry West. That was kind of like my. Okay, I'm going to enjoy the show, but I'm not going to be this is what happened.
When it comes to sports docs, I love sports docs.
Right.
But sports dramas, I don't love them as much. Okay, for example, 42, Jackie Robinson. I was very skeptical going in. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Makes me cry. Do I believe it's, exactly the way it went down? Probably not. They took some liberties on something. Still very powerful. But it works in a 2-hour window.
No doubt.
I don't know if the Jackie Robinson story, and it's one of the great stories that needs to be told, would have worked the same for me in an 8-episode format.
And everybody knows what happens with the Showtime Lakers. They won 5 championships in the 80s. They kind of know the story. Pat Riley's written about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You ever read his book, The Disease of Me? And he's got another one about those 80s teams.
Well, did you watch Invincible? The movie, about the guy from the Eagles?
Oh, Vince, what was that?
Vince Papale.
Yeah, Papale. I turned it off.
Okay, Kurt Warner's. I didn't watch that.
Yeah, I didn't watch Kurt Warner's.
I'm not watching The Blind Side.
I did. You never watched The Blind Side?
No, I don't.
I think you missed the boat on that one anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, they did, but I'm surprised you haven't. I haven't read the book. Well, the book was different. the book actually starts off talking about Lawrence Taylor blitzing against the Niners and how Bill Walsh pulled his centers to meet Lawrence Taylor out on the edge. It actually starts with the left tackle becoming the most important position in football. One of the most important positions in football. So it kind of ties in. So it's not really like the movie, but I would say watch the movie one time. Maybe now you don't want to watch it because you're like, oh, look at these frauds.
Well, it's just some of these like movies that they're sports movies. I don't believe the guy can do the actual sport.
Yeah.
You know, Roger Maris is 61. I watched it back, and it's 25 years old. It doesn't age well.
It doesn't age well.
They don't.
Who's that? Billy Crystal, right?
No, he produced
it on HBO.
Yeah, but the guys, they can't throw right, and they don't hit right. That's why Kevin Costner was so believable in all the movies he was in, because he looks like he can actually throw the ball.
What about Draft Day?
Hilariously fake.
I'm not going to lie. I liked it. It was hella fake, but I liked it.
Like, at least that's why any given Sunday works for me, because everything's fake.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Everything's fake.
Everything's fake. The team names.
That's why Jerry Maguire works,
hits,
even though it's loosely based on real stuff.
Tim McDonald.
Yeah.
888-957-9570. Got a fun guest list coming up here in the 8 o'clock hour.